Have you ever felt like your website is completely invisible on Google? Like you're doing everything right, but still getting beat by competitors who don't even work as good as yours? If you're like most landscapers I talk to, you're frustrated because you've been told 100 different things about SEO. Add more keywords or get more reviews, update your meta tags, and none of it seems to move the needle. Trying to win on Google in 2025 with 2015 tactics is like showing up to a drone survey with measuring tape and a clipboard. You're going to finish last, if you finish at all. Here's the truth that most SEO companies won't tell you. The rules of the game have completely changed in 2025. What worked 5 years ago not only doesn't work anymore, it might actually be hurting your chances of showing up in Google searches. Today I'm going to cut through all the technical jargon and show you what Google really cares about now. And a spoiler alert, it's not keywords, it's not backlinks, and it's definitely not those SEO packages that promise first page rankings. Understanding this shift could be the difference between your website being a ghost town or a lead generating machine that brings you better jobs without you having to lift a finger. Let's start by clearing up the most outdated SEO beliefs that are still floating around in the landscaping world. First, keyword stuffing. The idea that if you just cram the phrase best landscaper in your city into your website 50 times, Google will magically put you at the top of the result. This might have worked 15 years ago, but in 2025, it's doing way more harm than good. Google's not just counting keywords anymore. Google is measuring whether people actually find your content helpful. You've got a page that's so stuffed with keywords it sounds like a robot wrote it. Guess what's happening? People are clicking on your site, realizing it's useless, and immediately hitting that back button. And this sends a clear signal to Google that your site isn't helpful, and your rankings will tank. The second outdated belief is that reviews alone will rocket you to the top of Google. Don't get me wrong, reviews matter a ton, but not in the way most people think. I've seen landscapers pay for those sketchy 50 reviews for $2.99 services, and it backfires every single time. Google isn't just counting stars, it's looking at patterns. When Google sees 50 reviews suddenly appear over a weekend, after months of nothing, and then months of nothing again, they know exactly what's happening. It's like showing up to a weight loss contest 50 pounds lighter overnight. Nobody's going to buy it. Google would much rather see 5 authentic reviews spread over 5 months than 50 fake ones all at once. It's not the quantity, it's the pattern and efficiency that matter. The third outdated belief is that once your website is optimized, you can just set it and forget it. This might be the most dangerous myth of all. In 2025, Google sees a website that hasn't been updated in 6 months the same way you see a landscaping company with an overgrown, weedy lawn. If they can't maintain their own property, why would you trust them with yours? A stale, untouched website signals to Google that your business might not even be operating anymore, or that you don't care enough to keep things current. Either way, your rankings are going to suffer. All because you can build a website doesn't mean it's going to work for you without regular attention. So if Google isn't just counting keywords anymore, what is it looking for? In one word, authority. But what does authority actually mean to Google in 2025? It's not just being the biggest company or having the most backlinks, it's about consistency, demonstrating that you're actively in business, genuinely helping customers, and truly knowledgeable in your field. Let me break down how Google measures this now. First, consistency over time. Google is tracking how regularly you show up online across all platforms. Your website, Google Business Profile, social media, review sites, local directories, everywhere. A landscaper who posts one new project photo every week for a year is going to rank higher than one who dumps 50 photos all at once and then disappears. It's not about volume, it's about showing Google that you're consistently active. Second, engagement patterns. When someone visits your website, Google is watching what happens. Do they spend 30 seconds and leave, or do they stay for 5 minutes, visit multiple pages, and maybe even fill out your contact form? This engagement data tells Google more about your website's quality than any keyword ever could. If people find your content helpful and stick around, Google will reward you for it. Third, content that actually helps people. Google doesn't care if you've stuffed landscaper near me into your website 100 times. It cares if you're answering the questions people in your area are actually asking about landscaping. Let me give you a real-world example. When a homeowner searches how to fix pooling water near a patio, most landscapers miss this golden opportunity. But imagine if your website had a short article or video showing exactly how you solved that problem for a recent client. Google immediately sees you as an authority who actually helps people, not just another contractor desperate for leads. The fourth factor is connection between platforms. Google is looking at the whole picture now, not just your website in isolation. Are your Google business listings, website, social media profiles, and directory listings all sending consistent signals? If your website says you specialize in outdoor kitchens, but your Google business profile only shows lawn mowing photos, that inconsistency hurts your authority. Maybe the simplest way to think about all this is that Google has gotten much better at spotting the differences between companies than are just trying to game the system, versus companies that are genuinely good at what they do and helpful to their customers. Let me ask you a question. If Google had to choose between a perfectly optimized website with no updates versus a regularly updated website with decent optimization, who do you think is going to win? The answer might surprise you if you've been listening to old school SEO advice. The regularly updated site wins every time. And here's why. Google views website freshness as a critical trust signal in 2025. A site with regular updates signals that you're definitely still in business and you're actively engaged in your field. You're committed to providing current information and you're generating new work and new client relationships. Think of it like this. If you were looking to hire a landscaper and visited two websites, one with project photos from 2022 and another with photos from last month, which one would you choose more? Google feels the same way. They're trying to send people to businesses that are clearly active and engaged. I worked with a landscaper who had a beautifully designed website with perfect technical SEO, but he hadn't updated a thing in over a year. His competitors with much simpler websites were outranking him simply because they were adding new project photos and simple content updates every month. Within 90 days of him implementing a basic update schedule, just adding one new project and one helpful article per month, his rankings climbed from nowhere to the first page for his targeted keywords. This doesn't mean you need to become a full-time blogger. You just need to show regular signs of life. Think about adding a recent project photo, posting seasonal tips or service reminders, updating your service area information, or adding answers to common customer questions. Each of these small updates signals to Google that you're actively engaged in your business, and it signals authority. In 2025, an imperfectly optimized site that's updated regularly will always outrank a perfectly optimized site that's collecting digital dust. One of the most powerful ranking factors for landscapers in 2025 is what I call visual authority, showing your work rather than just telling people about it. This is especially true for visual businesses like landscaping, hardscaping, and outdoor living spaces. Google has gotten incredibly sophisticated at understanding images and connecting them to search intent. When you share photos of your actual work, especially before and after transformations, you're not just creating pretty pictures, you're building ranking power. Here's how this works. First, Google can now see and understand the content of your images much like a human can. Their image recognition technology can identify patios, plants, outdoor kitchens, retaining walls, even specific materials like pavers or plant types. Second, when people engage with these images, whether on your website, Google Business Profile, or even social platforms, Google tracks that engagement as a quality signal. A landscape company that regularly shares project photos and gets comments, shares, and interactions is demonstrating real-world authority in a way that no keyword stuffing ever could match. Third, Google is now connecting these visual signals across platforms. And when they see consistent project photos appearing on your website, Google Business Profile, and social channels, all with similar descriptions and engagements, that creates a powerful authority signal. I know a landscaper who completely transformed his Google rankings without changing a single keyword on his website. Instead, he added a project gallery with before and after photos, started posting completed project photos on his Google Business Profile every week, and created simple videos walking through his projects and posted them on YouTube. Within 3 months, he went from the third page of results to the top 3 spots for his main keyword. The best part about this approach is that you're already doing the work. You don't need to become a marketing expert. You just need to document what you're already doing in your day-to-day business. All because you can do great landscaping work. Doesn't mean people are going to find it if you're not showing it online. So let's get practical. If I were starting over as a local landscaper today and I wanted to show up on Google fast, here's exactly what I would do. First, I'd create a simple content calendar. Nothing complicated, just a plan to add something new every week. This doesn't have to take hours. Most of our clients carve out 30 minutes on a Friday, upload a few photos, check off their update for the week. That's literally all it takes to stay fresh in Google's eyes. Maybe I'd add a new project to my website gallery this week, post a new photo with descriptions on my Google Business Profile next week, and then answer a common customer question on my website the week after. Share a transformation photo on social media to round out the month. The key is consistency. Small, regular updates that show Google you're active and engaged. Second, I'd focused on getting real reviews from actual customers. Instead of trying to get 50 reviews all at once through some sketchy service, I'd develop a simple system where I can personally ask each satisfied customer for a review right after we've finished their project, when they're the most excited about their new outdoor space. I had a client who created a simple text message template with a direct link to leave Google a review. He sent it the day after the completion with a personal note and a project photo. That personal touch led to a steady stream of authentic, detailed reviews that skyrocketed his rankings. Third, I'd make sure my message was consistent everywhere. My business appears online. My website, the Google Business Profile, social media, and other listings would all tell the same story about what I specialize in, what areas I serve, what makes my approach different, and to showcase the same types of projects. When Google sees that consistency across the platforms, it's a huge authority signal. Fourth, I'd pay special attention to my project images. Instead of just uploading photos with names like Image 12345, I'd rename them with descriptive titles that explain the project location and materials used. I'd write detailed captions that help both potential customers and Google understand what they're looking at. One landscaper I worked with renamed all of his image files to include project type, location, and the main features. He added detailed alt text too, and within weeks his images started showing up in Google's image searches, bringing in new leads he never would have captured otherwise. And finally, I'd stop obsessing over keyword rankings and start paying attention to how people actually interact with my website. Are they staying for several minutes or bouncing right away? Are they visiting multiple pages or are they contacting me after visiting? These engagement metrics all tell Google more about your website value than any keyword strategy. Focus on creating a website experience that's genuinely helpful to potential customers, and the rankings will follow. Google's algorithm in 2025 is far more sophisticated than most people realize. It's not looking for who can stuff the most keywords or build the most backlinks. It's looking for businesses that demonstrate real, consistent authority in their field. For landscapers, this is actually good news because you don't need to become an SEO expert to rank well. You just need consistency, document, and share the great work that you're already doing. If you focus on regularly updating your online presence with authentic, content that actually helps potential customers, your rankings will improve naturally over time. Your future self will thank you for building this authority now, because once it's established, it creates a moat around your business that makes it much harder for competitors to displace you in the search results. Drop a comment below with your biggest questions about SEO in 2025, and I'll address the most common ones in my next video.